We had left free Ascent in a marina in Adelaide, early 2020, while we took possession of a house in Dover, Tasmania. But a week later COVID lockdown started, and we were confined to Dover. We spent a year in Dover before we could get back to free Ascent. In late 2020, daughter Julia was able to fly in from Europe, but had to spend 2 weeks in quarantine in Perth before flying direct to Tasmania to join us for Christmas and help with sailing free Ascent from Adelaide. Early January 2021, I flew into Adelaide to check out free Ascent, then prepare for a trip to Dover. Julia joined me to sail to King Island, free Ascent's home for the past year. New Tasmanian registration installed. A quick lift out to check the bottom, and a light water blast clean. Surprisingly clean after a year of inaction. We were ready to sail free Ascent down to Dover in Tasmania. After a year sitting idle, free Ascent was finally on the move again, and out of the Port Adelaide River. With Julia as crew. Then down to Marina St. Vincent at Marina Cove. The marina had failed financially, so had been taken over by the WA Department of Transport. When phoned about a berth for the night, they said just find a spot, no charge. The plan was to do the long hop down to Robe. After passing through the backstairs passage, in light winds and motoring, the hot water system vibrated loose, hanging dangerously above the engine. We sailed back to Kangaroo Island and the calm of American River. We were able to pick up a currently unoccupied mooring and headed ashore for a coffee. A local volunteer group was creating a replica. As we had diverted to Kangaroo Island, I decided to hire a car and spend a couple of days exploring the island. First up to Kingscote, the main town of Kangaroo Island. An old photo from 1912. On the way to the south coast, we visited the Emu Ridge Eucalyptus Distillery. We bought some local Colony Cove ciders. Bay on the south coast open to the Southern Ocean. Down to the southwest tip of Kangaroo Island, at Cape du Quebec, the lighthouse at the Cape. The walk to Admiral's Arch. Then remarkable rocks. Returning to American River through the center. About 50% of the island had been devastated by a huge bushfire a short time ago. Many plantations of pine trees had been lost. Next day, we explored some of the northern coast, including Emu Bay, where we anchored in free Ascent a year previously. 40k west of Emu Bay is Snelling Beach, a popular holiday spot. Coming back, we stopped at Stokes Bay and Beach. From the car park, the beach is only accessible through the tunnel. So, no cars on the beach. Refreshingly, only people. Then 4 kilometers long, Emu Bay Beach. Quite a different story with 4x4 cars. Lunch at the Emu Bay Lavender Farm. Back to American River and at the turnoff. The gateway to American River. some local artwork. And the real thing. Back to the boat to prepare for departure. With problems fixed, we did an overnight sail for the 250k to Robe. Finally to Robe and the Lake Butler Marina. Through the narrow channel to a berth near the entrance. For a quick overnight rest. The marina was created in 1964 by cutting a channel through the sand dunes to Lake Butler and giving it permanent walls. Early next day, the 65k hop down to Southend. The south end of a 12k long beach. Anchoring clear of the moored crayfishing boats. After a few days on the boat, Julia decided she needed activity. So headed off in the canoe for the jetty and a long walk. Returning a few hours later.
Right, good-o.
An early start for the 80k sail to Port MacDonnell. The day started foggy and dead calm. A lot of motoring was needed. And watching out for craypot buoys. I found the harbour quite shallow, so anchored near the breakwater end. A long dinghy ride to the boat ramp. But an interesting little rural town. With crayfishing a major industry. A talented local muralist. Putting those shots together. Even the bus shelter had a workover. Another early start for the sail from South Australia and Port MacDonnell to Victoria and Portland. In to the visitor jetty at the Portland Bay Marina. An interesting wind generator next door. A strong easterly came in. With a 1k fetch across the harbour, a bit unpleasant. So we moved around to a marina berth, facing into the wind. A lot more comfortable to wait out the easterly headwind for a couple of days. We set off on the 30th of January 2021 for the 300k overnight leg to Grassy on King Island. Sighting the distinctive lighthouse on the north of King Island about 7 a.m. next day. A north-setting tide slowed our progress down the eastern side of King Island, arriving at Grassy Harbour at about 4 p.m. that day. We took up one of the 2 marine and safety Tasmania moorings in the harbour and promptly celebrated our arrival in Tasmania. Next, we explore King Island. Then sail across to Devonport on mainland Tasmania and visit the Mersey Yacht Club.